Hello, everyone, and I'm glad you are here. And I am Magda Sommer. I am health transformational coach. And today I am so honored to have Dominique Bouyer as a guest. He's a terminal cancer survivor, but it's the best when he tells us his story in his own words. Welcome, Dominique. I am so honored to have you here.
Hello, Magda, and thank you very much for having me too. And yeah, I'm here for you tonight. Where should I start?
Well, my first question is I need to give you a little bit story. I lost my friend to the cancer a few years ago, and that was so devastating for me because she didn't have any chance to live. And that was the moment for me when I started learning about how really Western medicine works. And I also learned about alternative treatment, and I learned that everything is hidden from us. All the truth, all the treatment, is hidden
Yes.
us because of the money, of the greed. And we met each other in one of the courses, and I was so inspired by your story. And I invited you so you can inspire other people that until you breathe, there is always a chance of survival. There is always a chance of being healed and thriving because you did amazing thing. You just not survive, you thrive, you are coach, you create beautiful courses and you support a lot of people in your industry. So can you please share how you were diagnosed with cancer and what was your first reaction? And so I know you started with the traditional Western medicine treatment, and please share your story with us.
It's a little bit more than that, but not just traditional. I did a lot of the kind of everything, and basically it's a story that lasts like 10 years already. And started actually even further, started 2005 was the first report where doc told me you might have a tumor in the testicle. And at that time, I just didn't want to accept this. And I did some kind of spatial processing with mental stuff and some also assistance processing with the hands. And after a few months, it was gone. In 2005. Then 2011, December, I had a really, really bad kidney stone. And it was the only thing that was so painful that would bring me to a hospital. I know a hospital friend. And as I came there, within the night, the kidney stone went on its own. It kind of disappeared. But they told me next day, okay, when you come back home, make sure you visit your urologist just to check. So 1 week later, I went to urologist. He was checking the kidneys and everything and liver. It's all good, with the ultrasound. Then he said, "Did you have anything anywhere someday, sometime?" He said, "Well, when I was young, like 2005, I had like something testicle, but then it went away. Oh, let me check." I have to say now I weigh about 74 kilos. That's possibly something like, I don't know, 150 pounds, something like that.
I think so,
And
yes.
at that time, I was like uh 140 kilos, that nearly 300 pounds.
Oh, wow. I have to
And
imagine.
so I could show you pictures, you won't believe it. Uh, and well, cancer helped because I went down to 50 kilos, like about
A little bit
110
extreme.
pounds. Well, it helps. Anyway, so so I was so thick that I couldn't even see beyond my belly. So, and the guy tells me, we've got a testicle that's like 4 times the size of the other side. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't notice. So he sent me to CT scan, and he came back. Yeah, you have one of them with cancer. The other one, it looks not good either. So what about your family planning? You want to have more kids? I had one daughter at that time. I didn't plan more. I was happy with this. So I can have sex. Yeah, you can after this. It's okay to say, okay, let's do it. So, and then they removed both testicles, and it was all good. They were happy. They said you could make a chemo just to be sure, but I was never a big friend of conventional medicine, so
You
I
didn't
thought
do it.
chemo would make everything bad in my body. I didn't want that, so I said no. When it looks good, we leave it like that. But like about 18 months later, there was a little bit lymph node in the belly that was bigger than normal, like 2 centimeters. Should be like up to 1, it's okay, but 2 starts being weird. So and then it took a while to find out what it was, because first they wanted to make a biopsy, but I was so thick that they had to have a huge instrument to go into the body, and the only one they could find was one thing that was for horses, because the normal thing for humans wouldn't be long enough for me, or wouldn't be too stiff, or not stiff. So it was so at the end I said, okay, forget it, I'm not doing that. The day I had to do it, I went home, and then I did a PET scan. At the time, I didn't know it was a technology that was available. They did not talk about it. So I did a PET CT, PET scan, and then we saw the nice looking tumor, really like 4 centimeters in the middle of my belly, very close to the aorta, the main vein, main arteria, I mean, and so very difficult to access. Yeah. And they wanted first to give me a chemo, but I said no. And then said, well, okay, we can also do a surgery. I said, yeah, I prefer that. And if it's not enough, we can always do the chemo later. So they did that, but they planned like 5 hours. And I remember, it was in the middle of the summer 2013. I arrived there in the surgery block with the big surgery lamps around you, and all the rest is like white and sterile, and lots of monitors around. And they thought it would last 5 hours, but at the end it was like 9 hours. And 9 hours in full anesthesia is a lot, general anesthesia. So at the end of it, everything was like a terrible state. And my lungs, I could not breathe correctly. My liver values were terrible. My blood values terrible, everything. So I landed not only in the ICU, but in the intensive care unit. Had like something like 8 or 10 monitors around me, all the beep, 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 beep all the time. And I got a respirator, like Darth Vader,
Yes.
That's how I woke up with this stuff. And it had to pump air in my lungs because I had like only half of the volume. And then after 5 days there, I had to get up and go to the normal intensive care unit. And then I realized my left leg couldn't carry me.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
so it was like a kind of collateral damage. It was not planned. Yeah, so I ended up in another intensive care, and after about 5 more days, I ended up in a normal room where I was alone. And it's been altogether like 10 days after the surgery, and in these 10 days, I could not eat anything. My belly was, you have to imagine that. It's going to be a bit graphic, but they cut off the whole belly from the top to the bottom, open it, take away the intestine, cut the tumor away, put the intestine back, and then sew it. Yeah, and it was a huge thing. And then of course it's swallowing after that. So if you feel like you've got a kind of bomb in your belly all the time that wants to explode, and so because of the pressure, I couldn't sleep 10 days long more than 1 hour a day. So I was an absolute wreck, and it was very painful whatever I'd take. And after like 10 days, there came the night, and I remember it was something like 2 a.m. And I really thought, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. That's just too much. I can't take it anymore. And nothing was moving, no bowel movement in 10 days. And then I said, no, you've got friends all around the world. You believe that spirit and energy exists. Ask for help. And then, well, knowing nobody would hear me and answer, I just shouted in my room against the wall. I said, help! And in this moment, I kind of, when I think I still don't really know what happened, but I felt like somebody was, or something was pushing me up, like kind of levitating or whatever. Like maybe, I don't know, was not really in the body or something like that. And it felt at least no more pressure, all gone. And I was like, what the fuck is happening, And then it gave me some more courage. And I said, okay, let's write a friend of mine who's very knowledgeable. Maybe she's got an idea what I could do. So I took my phone and I typed in the messenger, what could I do? And she told me, yeah, do a process going communication with your cells, find out what they have. Say, okay, so there's something which is called hello, and okay, and you say hello to your cells in the belly, and they say, and you have them say okay to you, and then you have them say hello to you, and you say okay to them. And you do this repetitively, can be 1 hour or whatever, but I did it only 3 times. And after 3 times, I got like a very weird emotion coming up. Couldn't tell you why, but I was feeling really like anger, like real anger. Said, what's happening? Are you mad? Yeah, we're mad. Why are you mad? Yeah, because we figured you're gonna cut us out like you've done with the tumor. And I was like, no, break, no, it's over. It's over the cutting, you know. We don't remove anything else now. We're one team, guys. I need you with me. And the moment I thought that, I heard, like, you know, when you've got a water pipe that is jammed, and then the plumber comes and it starts blah, 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 and it starts going through, and exactly that happens to my belly. I was like, what the?
It's a miracle.
And the belly started to work and things started to move. And I cried for joy. I just couldn't believe it, because I knew I wouldn't die this night.
Yes,
And
the moment when you yell for help, there was the moment when you make decision. Then you make
yes,
decision, and communicating with your body, with your cells, is being the
absolutely.
process of connecting your body with your spirit to come back together. If I
Totally.
get this correctly, right?
First connected with the energies of friends, and then connecting with my body, basically connecting with everything. And this night, that's 100% what saved me. I think I wouldn't have made it through the night without that. I'm pretty sure.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you did.
Yes. So that was one thing. There were many more endeavors. But another thing happened, like, you know, because of my cancer, it was, I did also a lot of alternative treatments, because I wanted to not have to do conventional treatments. I was not a big fan of them. And I had also quite, sorry?
Can you tell us why you didn't believe in conventional treatment, and why
I was, you know, each time you go to an oncologist, they tell you, well, okay, so we're gonna do this thing with you, like chemotherapy. And because of whatever you've got, I'm gonna give you the strongest chemotherapy stuff we have, and we don't do only 3 rounds. We're gonna do at least 7 rounds, and we're gonna do like really like hardcore. And just so you know, it's possible that you at the end you can't hear very well. You will lose your hair. You will have this problem. You might have problem with sex. You might have this problem. Then, you know, a whole list of it, of what could happen. And I was like, you know, the problem is, up to now, when people told me what could happen, it did happen. So I'm like a bit fan of it, you know. And if there are any other ways that I could try before doing that, I will try them. So I did like something that worked very well. I went also to Budapest and did some oxygen water. Well, it's not oxygenized water. It's, you take a normal water without bubble, without oxygen, and you let it go through electrodes, and that changes the structure of the water, so that you've got like 4,000 times more oxygen ions available in the water. And then you take baths with that. And this is like a doping. And you know, cancer cells, they have very low oxygen. You can measure it. There is something called oxygen pressure, PO2. And you know that for a normal person, depending upon your age, you can have between 70 and 80. It's basically the same unit as your blood pressure. Yeah. So when you measure 100 to 20 for blood, it's the same in for the oxygen pressure. Yeah, PO2. And a normal healthy person has between 70 and 80, depending upon the age. It starts with 80, goes down to 70 during your life. And cancer cells, some will have only 40, some 30, and some will have not even 2. Yeah, they're really bad ones. So, and the idea is that when you bring oxygen into the cancer cell, you force it to reactivate the mitochondria, which is the energy cell of the cell. And thanks to this, the cell will realize that it's also damaged, and the cell death will start, which is called apoptosis. Yeah, and that works amazingly. And it's a bit like electricity. You know, you've got the lamp here, and you've got you've got the button, and you switch the button, and the lamp goes on immediately. You know, there's no really circulation of anything. It's just immediate. And it's the same with this. When you put your body in the water, immediately you've got everywhere oxygen in all cells. It doesn't go through the blood system. It works with osmosis.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen also, I've got amazing results there, and I've seen also people like coming with metastases everywhere in the body, and after 2 months they went home and it was all gone. So this is one thing that is absolutely amazing that I really recommend. There is one center in Las Vegas. There are a few in Budapest, and a few in some more European cities, also one in Singapore. So and it's developing always more. And so this is one thing I did. But at some point, it was not expensive, but at some point I didn't have the money to continue. So then the tumors came back, started to grow bigger. Another time I got rid of tumors through mental healing, and combined with a high dose vitamin C orally. I was taking like up to 35 gram vitamin C per day.
So you didn't try the interval one to your vein. It was just oral, right?
Sorry?
It was oral one and not the...
It was oral. It's a lot. It's for 1 day oral. It's really a lot. Because, you know, when you take too much vitamin C, you tend to have diarrhea. Yes. So you need to spread it all over the day. But it worked quite well. So I got rid of 2 tumors with this as well. So that was good. And then I got about 8 to 10 months later, I got 2 new tumors, same place again. And this time I tried, same, but it didn't work. And so I tried all the things, everything there's, I tried basically B17 and what's called DTA or something like that, and then all kind of stuff. Yeah. But for me, it didn't work. And then the tumor kept growing. And at some point, it really looked like a pregnant woman. You know, I had the tumor was like 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 15 centimeters. So it really was like a pregnant woman with twins on the 11th month.
So. Sounds like that, and I admire your humor right now about that.
It's better to laugh at it than to cry. Maybe that's also what kept me alive, that I'm optimistic. Yes. And that's an important part, you know. But the thing is, yeah, it was tough. And I remember, you know, I always tried to go on holiday with my daughter as much as I could, so at least twice a year. So like in the winter, we'd go skiing together, and in the summer, we'd do something together as well. And in the summer 18, I organized 10 days in Turkey where we would do some kite surfing. Because, you know, I hate just staying on the sand, you know, on the beach more than 1 hour. It's terrible. So I said, okay, let's go to a kite surf and do a kite surf school 10 days long. I have to say my daughter is much better than I am. And then while I was there, I realized it was always more difficult for me to eat anything. At the end, I could only eat a little bit of chicken. Everything else wouldn't work. And drinking was becoming a huge problem as well. And at the end, I had to go to the gas station and buy some distilled water, and that would be the only thing that I could drink. And so I went home, and I was really bad. And after 2 weeks, I said, okay, I'm not coming out of this alone. I have to go to the hospital. So then I called the palliative station, and I said, can you take me? And I said, okay. So I went there. They gave me first, you know, typical sugar stuff to give you a little bit of energy. And after a while, they realized, well, you know, I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. I was in pain 24/7. Because of this, I couldn't sleep. So I was a total wreck. And then they said, okay, you're getting TPN, which is parenteral nourishing, which is basically food over the tube. You know, you get an implant here, and then you get the food here. It goes directly into the heart and then into the body. It's like pre-digested. Well, it is not perfect, but it saved my life. And at the same time, I got also 2 stents between the kidneys and the bladder. because the tumor was so big that he was pressing on the ureters, and the urine couldn't go from the kidneys to the bladder. So I had to put 2 stents in there. And I was so weak, I had to get a wheelchair, and I was like weighing 50 kilos. At some point in December, I went to the hospital and I wanted to have some blood works done. And the person who was doing this at the end said, "You're not going home now, are you?" I said, "Yes, I am." "No, you're not." "Of course I am. I have my car here outside." I said, "No, you're not." I said, "Yes," and I stay up. And at that moment, I like, oh.
Not.
I fall down sitting. Okay, I'm not going home. I had no energy at all. And then they put me into a room, and the next day the oncologist came and said, "Look, Mr. Bouyer, I have to be really frank with you. If you're gone like that, if you don't do any chemo, I give you 3 months to live, maybe 6, but that's it." And I was like, it's tough. It's tough to hear. So I said, I have to think at it. And then next day he came back and said, "I talked to the chief oncologist, and we are willing to do a special protocol with you, because the reason is your liver and your kidneys are so weak that if we give you the normal protocol, you'll die anyway." Oh, great, sounds good. And they say, "Yeah, so we're gonna do only 1 product out of 3 of the normal protocol, and we're gonna do only 25% of the dosage. And I say, "Oh, under these conditions, I agree. That sounds good to me." First time that someone was not saying, "I'm gonna do everything full power." I was like, no, no. So we started like that. I will always remember this date. It was the 20th of December, 2018. And we did the first chemo round. And it went astonishingly well. Yeah, I didn't have any side effect. And it looked like something was happening with the tumor. So 4 weeks later, we did the second round, and we could see that like 4 weeks later, again, it was getting better. We had like maybe 20% less tumor. So it was very good sign. So they say, could we take a second product and raise the volume to 50% instead 24 to 25? I said, okay, let's go for it. And then we kept going like that. And basically, at the end, I stayed 1 year on chemotherapy, and that saved me. Yeah, saved me. And in December 19, they say, okay, that's the last one, because now we're good. You still have like about 20% of the mass of the tumor remaining, but the tumor cells are dead, they are gone. So that's normal with lymph nodes. And we're done. And since then, I've been cancer-free. And I just did the last CT scan, the 3.5-year CT scan. And the results came back not only very stable, nothing talking about any kind of tumor or cancer cells or things like that, but I had some other problems as well, because all this, well, many things happen. And one of the things is I used to have a lot of kidney stones, and also I had a cyst in one kidney. It was not tumorous, but it was there. And also I had ascites, which is water retention. And the oncologist called me. He likes me because each time when I come, at least he's got one guy where he can say something good. And he called me and said, "Yeah, it's great, it's stable, it's really cool." I say, "Yeah, what about the rest? Like, what about ascites?" "It's better, never been that good." So, "Okay, what about the kidney stones?" "They're all gone." I said, "Oh, there was a cyst in the kidney." "You know what? The cyst, it exploded, and now it's like a kind of it calcified. It's all good. It's perfect." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So Yeah, so it's getting better and better and better all the time. And that's really cool. And I love it.
What happened? At which point you decide to incorporate fenbendazole? And did you
Actually, in my case, I used it at the after I was done. And but people think, oh, really? Only once you were cancer-free? Yes, but before that, before the chemotherapy, I've been fighting between 2011 and 2019 against my cancer, and it always came back. I had many, many times I got rid of tumors, and then they came back. And I am quite convinced that's the only reason why I'm still alive now and still cancer-free 3.5 years later is because of fenbendazole.
Can you explain to people, because most people do not know what fenbendazole is? It's the antiparasitic drug, which in my understanding, cutting the sugar supplies to the cancer cells.
Yeah, so I have to explain a few things about fenbendazole. First, it's very often not known unless you've seen something about it in Facebook or TikTok or whatever, because always more people talk about it. But basically, originally, it's an anti-parasite. Actually, it's a dewormer. Yeah. And it's not, if I'm gonna say something really bad, it's not even authorized for humans. Actually, it's been authorized 40 years ago for all kind of animals, for cats, dogs, goats, cows, cattle, horses, whatever. But all mammals of the world, including fish, all the fish, the farm fish, they get it, you know. But because it's been done a long time ago and it fall into the public domain after that, it's not possible. It's no longer possible to now get it authorized for humans. So you have to develop a new molecule, which is going to be a combination of this and something else. And then you will be able to patent it again, and then you will sell it again and so on. But it takes time. And one of the things is because it's in the public domain and because it's been produced already a long time in India for very, very cheap, like a few cents per kilo, the pharma industry knows that they can't make money with it. So they don't even try. Yeah. But what we found, so now there is one word I need to check to clear, because people have very often the wrong idea of what is a parasite. Or they say, I don't have any parasite. Like, I live in the States. In the States, we don't have parasites.
If you're breathing, you have if you breathe, you have parasites. Period.
Pretty much, if you're on Earth, you've got parasites. Yeah, and but because people, some people think when they hear the word parasites, they think, it could be a worm, like a worm in the gastric gastrointestine or whatever. Or it could be like, when you've got a Lyme disease, how you call this, a little thing that you get when you go walking in the forest and the
tick bite.
Tick, yeah, maybe, yeah. So these are, of course, parasites, but basically the definition of a parasite is any kind of organism that lives from another organism, yeah. And many of the bacteria we've got, like in our gut or everywhere in the body, are also parasites. Some are good, some are not. And some it depends about the quantity. Like when you have too many candida, then you've got a problem. But if you have just okay, that's fine. Yeah. And all viruses are also, by definition, parasites, because they can't live without us.
And
then you've got the next type of parasites, which are the nematodes, which can be extremely small. Like you need a special microscope to look at it. And sometimes you have to do like 10 times 12 in the zoom factor to see them. So that's why whatever you do for blood analysis and things like that, they will always come back like all normal. But you may be full of parasites, but you will never know. Yeah. So, but the thing is, on parasites, we realize that there's a high correlation between parasites, cancer cells, and also heavy metals. We don't really know if there is a causation, like what causes what, Do cancer cells, are they like a magnet for parasites? Or do parasites create cancer cells? What we know is that cancer cells love heavy metal and they love parasites. And when you look at it with a microscope, you will find very often heavy metal and parasites around cancer cells. Yeah? And parasites love heavy metal too. But the problem with parasites and heavy metal is when parasites eat up heavy metal, they can't digest it. It stays in the body, and when the parasite dies, it's released again. So it never goes. Yeah. So, and of course, parasites and heavy metals and other things are all factors that make the possibility for you having cancer or for having a tumor that is more aggressive always bigger, you know. So now, but actually, the truth is that with this drug called fenbendazole, also often we say just fenben. Fenben is simple to say, simple fenbendazole. So if I say fenben, I'm talking about the same thing. Yeah, and actually, we don't really take fenben because of parasites. Sometimes it's good. Some people, when they test it, and the first week or two, they have a little bit of effect, which is called the die-off, which is basically they had parasites and they die, and when parasites die, they don't like it, so they have some endotoxins that come out of it. It's basically kind of protein, a little bit like when a bee or a wasp stings you, but less strong. But you might have some kind of eczema, or it's can be itchy or something like that, or you can have some pain in the belly. And basically, when it's only 5% of the people who take fenbendazole who got these kind of reactions at the beginning, and when they have, and I say, wow, congratulations, that was really good that you took fenbendazole, because it means that was needed. This thing was screwing up your body. So actually, it's good when you've got die-off, but most of people won't have die-off because they didn't have that many parasites or problematic parasites.
To have opened all the detoxification pathway in the body, because usually when I work with my clients and doing some detox, I need to be sure they have like a regular bowel movement at least twice a day, and they sweating and they moving your lymphatic system, because it's not just like you take something and go to the bed, because that is making this worse and worse because all the toxin stays in your body.
Exactly. And that's the main problem with all the conventional treatments for cancer. The conventional medicine just don't give a damn about detox. But they pour poison in your body all the time, whether it's chemotherapy or whether it's radiation or whatever, or even when you do surgery, because after a surgery there is always a lot of repair taking place, which is many cells are going to die, and when they die they have to be taken away like trash. It is trash, and the body has to work with it, and that's a lot of stress especially for the liver, because that's its job, but also kidney and pancreas and whatever. And people, I'm like, how can you tell people to take a chemo and do nothing and say nothing about detox?
Oh, and worse, they give you right after chemo donut to feed
that's criminal. Yeah, they make it even worse. But
yes.
People wonder always. Like yesterday, I had a new client. I do a lot of cancer coaching, and telling me, yeah, but my oncologist told me it doesn't matter what you eat. Yes. I say, yeah, sure, it doesn't matter what you eat, because that's their reality. They believe it. And you know why they believe it? Oh, it's very simple. Because whatever they do for treatment, at the end you die. So whether you eat well or not, so for them it's true that it doesn't matter what you eat, because their treatments are wrong. But when you take, I don't want to say that the conventional treatments are always bad. I've been saved by a conventional treatment. So I'm an advocate of trying to combine all the best things together. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you have to do it with intelligence. Yeah. And sometimes it's good to do a chemotherapy. Yeah. But you can't forget the rest. You can't forget the detox. You have to take care of your diet. You have to take care of moving. You have to take care of your bowel movement. As you were saying, that's absolutely key. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, how did you eat before the cancer and how you're eating right now? Did you change, the way how you feel your body?
Yes. Here too, I tried pretty much everything. So Right after the first surgery, 2013, I said, okay, I need to have a radical change. And I went to a clinic. I stayed 3 weeks there, where I learned to eat only vegan. Yeah, but like from one day to the next, full stop. Before that, I was really eating junk food and everything. There was a time, not since 2011, but before that, and I was a student, and think I would be the best customer of McDonald's and Burger King and what's the last one? Kentucky Fried Chicken. So yeah, they were doing such a revenue with me. So I have to say I didn't do the best for my body, and I paid for it later. Yeah.
Well, we
But
always did. I always believe, you know, if there will be something harmful, government will not allow put it on shelves because they will protect us, right? I was so naive that thing changed when I moved to United States, and I was like, what's going on here?
people don't know, cigarette has been just promoted as something great for women because this way babies are smaller when they are born and it's easier for women. Kellogg's cornflakes have been the way that Americans take their breakfast now was only for two reasons: sell Kellogg's cornflakes and sell bacon. Before the Second World War, nobody would eat a breakfast like now.
Now, when I come to United States, my friend said to me, "Oh, I can see you're fresh off the boat. You make your son warm breakfast," and I cooked, and we eating here everything from fridge. It was convenient, but I pay for that too.
But they don't know that they're just putting crap in their body all the time. I mean, when I'm in America, I'm very often in America. I spent maybe 3 years there all together. 3 months here, 3 months there, and the worst thing is when I go do my errands, and buy some food, and when I want like to buy some bread, it's impossible. You've got like maybe I don't know how many yards of shelf of bread, but there's not a single one that I would eat.
Sure,
I
this
look
is
at the
sponge,
list of
not a bread.
ingredients, it's like that, there's ingredient for bread. In Germany, you have flour, water, salt, and a little bit of, I don't know if you call it yeast or whatever.
Yeast
And
or
that's it.
sourdough depends, yes.
That's what you said, and you make bread with it.
Flour in the United States altogether is made from multiple ingredients.
Yeah. So, that's a key problem. But okay, we can't tackle everything tonight.
Yes.
But no, coming back. So I started with vegan, and then because I knew that cancer cells love sugar, I did a special vegan diet, which was vegan diet without carbs. And I tell you, that's getting really good sport, because what can you eat? Well, of course, vegetables, especially green vegetables, but you can't take even a potato because most apart from the special
It's a starch is low, high
because the
glycemic
starch
index.
is very high, yeah, and so you can basically eat nuts, and that's where you get the proteins, nuts, and then beans, and then some vegetables like avocados and things like that are good also on proteins. That's pretty much it. So I had my nut box. I went to Home Depot. I bought a box for the screws, and I had little compartments where I would put all kind of nuts there, and I would leave with I had a big bag, and my nut box in it, and I would where I would go, I would always take my bag with me, so that if I were hungry, I could eat from these nuts, and I didn't have to snack or eat on stuff that was bad. And I would go very much often to what's it, Nature's Food Patch, and buy some like juice, like green juice, and or green smoothies and things like that. That's how I made it in the States, basically. Yeah. And it helped because in the first 6 months, first I lost 40 kilo. I went from 100 from 140 to 100, which was good, which was needed. But I also moved myself. I bought some walking poles. It's called Nordic
It's
poles.
very popular in Europe.
Yeah, Yeah, very popular. So people think it looks like it's for old people, but not at all. When you work with poles, you use 90% of all your muscles, so it's much better for the whole body for the build up. And I was working like 5 kilometers every night with my poles, and I was doing this, and after a while of this, like 8 months, I had a blood picture done. I don't know if you know that. You know, you put some blood on a glass,
The
and then you take
dry
a
one on the
microscope.
light one.
Yeah, you take a microscope and you check for like 800 times bigger and 1200 times bigger, and you can see the blood cells exactly, you know, like in the book. You can see them, and you can see them moving, and you can see the stuff around. And it's very interesting. And the doc who did that with me said, your blood is so amazingly good. It's like perfect blood. Normally, you know, when you have a bad blood, it's like stacks of coins, you know,
Mhm.
stacked up and things like that. And when you've good blood, it's all that nice round red cells and like happy
Dancing.
cancer, you know. And the guy told me, if you haven't told me you had cancer, I wouldn't believe it, because your blood is so good. Yeah, and it was really good. But after a while, I have to say that I started missing some real proteins. And after 18 months of this, I had to stop. And I had to go back to a normal diet because it just was just too much. So that's the problem for many people who are not used to a vegan diet. And if you've been doing this all your life, your body is kind of, okay, yeah, that's how it works. But if not, you might develop over time some carencies. And after a while, it can take a while, but you might have problems. So you will have the betterment definitely at the beginning, but it's possible that it won't last for the rest of your life. Yeah.
I
So
think I think, you know, when you constantly are vegan and you're depleting yourself really with vital minerals, macronutrients, which is only found in the animal produce.
yeah,
And unfortunately, you need to watch for the quality of the meat you're buying. And because this is
yeah.
another huge subject.
And that's another subject. By the way, also talking about cancer cells, they don't all react only on sugar. Some also react on glutamine, which is basically also animal proteins, and on fat. So what we hear very often now is like, do a ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet is for many people with cancer very good. But for some, especially the ones who have genital cancers and things like that, and hormone-driven cancers, it might not be the right diet. So you really need to look very individually each time, whatever you do. You know, it's not one takes it all. Yeah?
No, we all are individual, we all unique, and all the
Exactly.
treatment or the diets and everything
Yeah.
is supposed to be tailored to our needs. So
Yes,
it's
yes,
a
yes.
journey. You're trying multiple things, it's not one thing.
Yeah. So let me. So I tried that, and then I tried ketogenic, and now the thing is, there is one thing left from my time as I had cancer. Actually two, which is basically some difficulties with digestion, but I'm getting closer. I can see that it's getting better now, and I'm so happy. I handled my leaky gut, and now I'm getting sometimes normal stool, which was not possible before. And also, since I've you see this, that's a
Mhm.
bottle, and it's about 750 milliliter, like 3/4 of a liter. I don't know how many ounces that it can't tell you, but I drink about 3 of these every day, and in it I put 1.5 gram of magnesium, which is very important for the muscles. And when you've got
What
cramps
form?
and when you've got polyneuropathy and things like that, which happens a lot when you get chemo, yeah,
What kind of magnesium?
I take magnesium citrate. There are 2 types of magnesium that I recommend to people, which is magnesium citrate. It's because it's very good for the cramps and for the nerves and for relaxing, and also because it's citrate, and many cancer patients have a lot of trash, as I told you at the beginning, in their body, and the trash is also often a kind of oxalate calcium trash, and it's going to create a lot of kidney stones, and also it's going to create a lot of plaque all inside the veins and the arteries, so that you've got everywhere calcium, and you can't see it because you don't see this calcium in your blood. It's on the walls inside your veins and arteries. And that's why I really recommend to many patients who have cancer to drink a lot of magnesium citrate. Yeah. The only problem with magnesium citrate is that it might have you get diarrhea.
True.
So so you can't take too much. You have to see for yourself. That's why this way is good, because you know I drink like 2, 3, 4. I would say this. I don't remember the name, but at a time, and then again, and then again, and then again. So it's spread over the day. And I also always have it on my night table, because sometimes I have cramps during the night. And I know many cancer patients with bad cramps during the night. It's often the result of a chemotherapy. And what you can do is you drink this, and after 4 minutes, the cramps are gone, like magic. Yeah, so that's really good. And another thing that I put in it, especially because of my problem with the intestine and leaky gut, is glutamine in my case. Put a lot of glutamine in it. I put like something like 5 grams of glutamine in one bottle. And I drink 3 of it every day. And now everything is getting much better than before.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. But I mean, it might work or not. Everybody has different problems, but for me, it works. And now what I wanted to say is the last thing that is open apart from this digestion problem is also that in the middle of the chemotherapy, I got a polyneuropathy in the rectum. And I can tell you, it means that each time I eat anything that is has sugar or processed sugar, or anything hot like curry, wasabi, whatever, pepper, it's terrible. I'm like, it's like a volcano exploding in my butt. and it comes to bleeding very fast. So it's really bad. And then, you know, it gets inflamed, and then I have to handle it as an inflammation, as like a wound, like an external wound, and it's bad and it hurts. So at the end, I found out exactly what I can eat and what I can't. I got rid of everything with sugar. I got rid of everything with a lot of starch and a lot of like milk. Milk has a lot of milk sugar in it. Even potatoes have quite some sugar, and all dairy products basically. So sometimes I take dairy products, but only the ones that are lactose free. And these one, it's okay somehow. Not perfect, but okay. Yeah, honey for me is I'm dead. Nutella, no way. You know, and that's the way also how I see how sugar is really an acid, because you know I get just eat a little bit of sugar on my tongue like that, and in the next seconds I will feel the burn in my rectum. So there is a direct and immediate reaction of the body with this, and it goes through, I don't know through which canals. There is an extremely fast communication between the mouth and the rest of the organs in the body.
Maybe just theory, maybe vagus nerve sends the signal.
That's
Because
possible.
you know the sugar bonds with all the happy receptors, happy hormones. So
it
it's
goes
more
so fast. It's crazy. Yeah. And I feel it immediately, and I feel the burn. So I know that actually each time we eat sugar, we burn our body inside, but most of the time when we're healthy, we don't notice it. It's just when you're not healthy that you notice it. Yeah.
Well, most people who are healthy are disconnected with the bodies. We're treating this like, you know, go buy another one because
like
no one pay attention. So, like a car, right? But sometimes, you know, when you have the wake-up call, you just open your eyes, and sometimes it's unfortunately too late, and people don't look for alternative treatments and try and just give up very easily. And so you are such an inspiration. And if you will look from retrospective, what you
sorry. Actually, we were not done with fenbendazole. I wanted to give you some more info.
So let's go back to fenben.
But before that, I just wanted to finish to answer this question about my diet, because it can be interesting for people having similar problems with digestion and things like that. I realized that in my case, I need animal proteins, and especially the ones that work best for me, which is crazy because it goes against everything I always heard, are pork proteins.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you why. It's the meat. It's best for my digestion.
Oh, wow.
You know, Yeah, and so but apart from this, what I do is like my diet is very simple. It's always the same, but it's not perfect, but at least it keeps me alive and not having pain all the time. I eat an advocate. No breakfast, never breakfast. I do intermittent fasting, which is only 1 or 2 meals a day and no more.
Mhm.
And then I eat an avocado. Usually I take some how do you call it, smoked ham with it, but like organic. Yeah, nothing you buy in a blister. No, no. I have it cut for me each, like every third or fourth day. Yeah. And then so always fresh, always good. And then I have some pork with some fresh cream, but lactose free, and champignons. Yeah, and then and I take a dessert which I didn't do at the beginning, but I realized that for me something that works very well is mango.
Mango.
Can't tell you why. I just know that mango is the fruit that has the biggest concentration of three things, which is vitamin A, C, and E. Yeah, and it somehow it's very good for my digestion, and it soothes everything. So I just wanted to give this tip. Maybe everybody needs to try and see is it something for me or not. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but
So
the pork is mind-blowing because
yeah.
everybody is advised to not eat pork from various reasons, various theories, from closest to DNA to the parasites and
It's true.
tuberculosis, you name it.
Possibly also because I take fenben all the time, I don't get the parasites from the pork meat. I don't know, but so now that we're done with the diet, of course my diet is very special, but it's like it helps me handle my problems. Yeah. And so I'm glad that I found it, because never ever any doc was able to tell me what to eat or not to eat or what to do with my problem. The only way they wanted to solve my problem at the time was to give me morphine. So I was on 3 times morphine a day, like 3 times 10 milligram. And it was terrible because I was like that all the time. And it was not enough to cover the pain anyway. And then I had some problems driving and things like that. So it was bad. And I was so happy to replace it first with CBD. And then I realized also that I was taking something to lessen the water retention, which is called Lasix and others, and spironolactone.
Mhm.
And this, after I stopped taking it, I realized it was creating a big part of the pain I had on my polyneuropathy in my rectum. So sometimes the drugs you take might be the thing that make you feel much worse than you should. So it's worse to try not to take and see if something happens, at least a few
Always
days.
listen to your body. Your body will tell you.
Absolutely. So I stopped taking this, and it was much better. And then after a while, I was able to just completely stop morphine. And then after a while, I went also down with the CBD, and now I've been like 1 or 2 years without anything, unless I really have something bad happening. Yeah. Like last Saturday, I sprained my foot, and because of that, and for the first time after at least 1 year, I took twice some painkiller. Yeah, but I never do those apart from this. Yeah.
Don't get up so fast from the bed.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway,
That
coming
may
back
help.
to fenbendazole. Yeah.
Yes.
Fenbendazole, basically, as I told you at the beginning, people who've got cancer don't take fenbendazole because of parasites, although it is an anti-parasite. But they take fenbendazole for 5 properties that fenbendazole has that are perfect against cancer. And they are perfect against any type of cancer. That's what's absolutely amazing, because there are hardly any drug that you could use for any cancer. Yeah. So at the moment, we don't know at least any that would say it's a contraindication. There is one contraindication with fenben. I say it now because it's important, especially in the US. Many people, when they have pain, they get, for their pain management, they get Tylenol.
Perfect.
It's like paracetamol or any kind of stuff with that contains the drug called acetaminophen.
Okay.
So
It's ruin your
Tylenol,
stomach.
paracetamol.
It's ruin your digestion tract and kidneys.
Yeah, Tylenol, acetaminophen, paracetamol, are very bad for your liver. Yeah, and one can take it 1 day or two if one have pain, but one should never use it as a long-term pain management. Whatever you take, it's always bad for your liver. Yeah, I see many cancer patients getting new metastases in the liver because of Tylenol, and they don't tell them the risk. Yeah,
Because it's over
so
counter.
yeah, and this one Tylenol is the only contraindication with fenbendazole. When you mix both, Tylenol is even worse on the liver. Yeah, but there are one thing also I'd like to talk right now, because we're on the topic of liver. Some people think that Tylenol might be hard on the liver. Not Tylenol, fenbendazole, fenben, and say, yeah, but you need to take care of your liver. I say, with my observation on all the studies I read, I can't say that fenben is bad on the liver. I really can't say that. What I can say is that fenben will make sure that so many cancer cells will die that your liver will get a lot of stress from you taking fenben, but not from fenben metabolizing in the liver, which is what happens. Yeah.
Can be
So
possible of dying of the liver flux and causing more toxicity, and that's not moving
the
bile.
toxicity comes from the dead cells that have to be basically reprocessed and trashed. Yeah. And the lot of work that has to be done with all these cancer cells. Yeah. And but if you do good detox measures, you'll be able to handle that. And basically, the level of toxicity of fenben is among the lowest known for any drug in the world. Many people don't know that, but before any drug is authorized, you have to make a test. You test for its toxicity, and the toxicity, the index for toxicity is called LD50, lethal dose 50%. Yeah, which means you take a sample of mice, yeah, like 20, and you give them the drug, and you start with a very low dosage, and you raise, yeah, and you raise until 50% of the sample dies. And that's this level is the LD50. And every single drug in the world has an LD50. Now, as they tested fenbendazole, no mice ever died. So at the end, they take the maximum level that they give, and they say that's your LD50. So the fenbendazole has the highest, which means basically the lowest LD50 possible. Yeah, compared to other anti-parasites like ivermectin, which is well known. It's about, at least on the paper, 1,000 times more toxic.
Oh, wow.
It's still very little toxic compared to like chemotherapy, which is 1 million times more. Yeah. So we have to, people also don't, they are not, they don't put things into relation, you know? Sometimes oncologists say, oh, don't take this because it's bad, it's toxic. Yeah, what about your chemotherapy? Ah, yeah, well, that's more toxic, much more toxic.
Well, even on the label, it says it's cause cancer. So
Yeah, so so that's funny. So anyway, so what it does is not the thing for antiparasites, but it's these 5 properties of fenbendazole against cancer cell. Property number 1 is it cuts the sugar pathways. Yeah, and so it avoids the cancer cell to feed on glucose. And this is key, because most of cancer cells will feed on glucose, and that's what keeps them alive. Yeah, they put the mitochondria, which is the energy cell of the cell, on standby, so they don't have to use the stuff you eat and burn them to create energy. Instead, they take immediately directly glucose, and it's what creates their energy. Yeah, and so they bypass all the system doing this. Yeah, but fenbendazole cuts the pathway of glucose, and this way it starves the cancer cell, but without starving you. And that's the great thing, because many theoreticians of cancer have said, yeah, you need to starve the cancer, but the problem is you starve yourself first. You know, you will always starve yourself first before the cancer cell starves if you do it like that. That's not the way to handle it. You You can't just from your diet starve the cancer cell. But what you can do is you can have something like that, like fenben, that will cut the sugar pathways, and then they will starve for not getting the food they need. Yeah. So that's the number one. The number two is, we don't know why, but we know that, you know, when you have a cell, you have to imagine that in each cell you have like kind of columns that keep the structure of the cell the way it is. And these are called microtubules or tubulars. Yeah. And fenbendazole destroys these microtubulars, the columns that keep the structure of the cell, so that this goes destroyed, and then the cell collapses on itself and dies. Yeah. So this is the second way why fenbendazole works so well. And then you've heard maybe of, there is a gene called P53. P53 is the gene responsible for dealing with cancer cells in the body of your immune system, that make sure that you kill cancer cells if you see some. Yeah. And we have, every one of us has some kind of mutant cancer cells every day, like 4,000 at least, or something like that. And our immune system, when it works well, knows that, and they have like a little policeman. This is the P53, and they kill the cancer cells when they see one. Yeah. But sometimes, especially when you're not healthy or you get cancer, your P53 is not strong enough, and it doesn't do the job. Or you have too many cancer cells and it's not enough. Or you have mutations of the P53 and it doesn't work correctly, and instead of killing the cancer cells, it starts killing other things or whatever. And fenbendazole handles this, stabilizes everything, handles the mutation, and makes sure that your P53 works. Yeah. And then there is a next thing, which is fenbendazole prevents also the cancer cells to how you say this, to grow geographically by size. You know, not just that the cells, one cell itself grows bigger, but also that, you know, it reproduces and it goes always wider everywhere. Yeah. So this is also one thing that it prevents. And the last thing that it prevents is, you have to imagine when you build a city, well, like if you build a new area with new houses, well, you have to connect them to the water, to the electricity, to a power supply, to whatever. You know, there are a lot of things that have to be organized for the houses to work. And it's the same with the cancer cells and the metastases and everything. They need so-called vascularization, which is like blood vessels, lymph vessels, and all kind of things, and nerves and everything, so that this place can live. And also this is something that the growth of this is prevented by fenben. So we've got five.
Excuse me, I didn't know that. So if this fenbendazole will work for benign cancer, benign tumors like fibroids or other things, what also.
Yes. Fenbendazole works for many things. Many also autoimmune disease have great results with fenbendazole. We can't promise that it will heal everything, but even like things like ALS, or Lyme, or other stuff like that can get definitely big betterment thanks to fenben. Yeah, so it's definitely always worth to try it and see if it helps you, whatever you got, lupus, or, you know, any kind of autoimmune disease, it can help. And then there's one more thing that I want to say, and it is also one of the reasons why I take personally every single day 500 milligram fenbendazole, not just to prevent cancer, because honestly, after 2 years, if I could, I would do only like 250 milligrams at 500, or I would do only 3 days on, 4 days off, or I would do only 10 weeks on and then the rest off for 6 months. But there is one thing that it does, because, you know, we talked about the sugar property, yeah, that it cuts the sugar pathways. And it looks like basically fenbendazole has a regulating function on the whole sugar metabolism of the body, which means that it also helps diabetic people. And it also helps people who are not diabetic but have insulin resistance, like me. And I stopped fenbendazole, and then I realized that I started to have all the symptoms of diabetic people. Although I am not diabetic, but I have insulin resistance, which means I would have like yo-yo effect all day long. Immediately after I ate or drank something, I would have feeling of being absolutely hyperglycemic. And then I would stop eating and hypoglycemic. So you go from irritated to totally low battery, and then feeling poisoned and dying all the time. And then when I put back my fenbendazole, it all vanished. And since then, I'm stable. And that's why I don't stop it anymore. I take like religiously every single day my 500 milligram fenbendazole.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. I
Oh,
thought I knew a lot about that, but
Mhm.
right now I think I just knew a little. So
Yeah. And there's so much more to say. But so basically, that's what's important to know and to understand. So it does kill parasites, but that's really not the reason why we take it when we take it for cancer patients.
yes, and most important is saves lives on multiple levels.
Yes, and now I don't want to promise anything, of course, and we're not doctors. We're not giving any medical advice, and everything you do, you
just
of course
educational video.
check with your doctor, and we're just talking about things we see and we experience. Yeah. But,
Talking
so
about your
it's not medical
experience.
advice. Yeah, it has to be really clear for everybody here. Yeah. But um yeah, it's and what it does, like even for cancer types where the conventional medicine really has a hard time, and like brain cancer, lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, some kind of breast cancer like TNBC, triple negative breast cancer, some kind of gastric cancer, whatever, colorectal cancer and things like that. All this lung cancer, kidney cancer, liver cancer, which normally are really bad stuff. And the conventional medicine would say, well, actually, we're not really, you go there and you say, okay, so how many people do you heal with this? When you ask this question, say, well, can't heal you. We just can give you more time. That's what they tell you. At least when they are honest, that's what they say. When they are dishonest, they say, you'll be
Yeah,
healed.
that's what when they honest, but also they do not mention the quality of life.
Yeah, exactly. So basically what they do is they give you 6 more months, theoretically. It's not even true. Sometimes they even reduce your lifetime through their treatment. But in a way, like, you're gonna be poisoned all the time. You're gonna feel so bad. I mean, I don't want to make it really bad, but it happens a lot. And then if they do surgery on top of that, and they will gonna mutilate you, and if you do radiation, people don't have any idea of what radiation is. Radiation is not just something. Radiation is a huge sunburn internally. But because you don't see it, doesn't mean that it doesn't burn. You could go into an oven and then you get radiation. You come out red like a red meat.
It's
And that's what
introduced as much safer option than chemo. Everyone is also afraid
it's
of
not safe.
chemo. It's
And
not.
even my oncologist, who wanted to give me the chemo, but at the end ended up doing a surgery with me, told me don't do radiation because we see so many relapse for people with radiation. And it's obvious because actually many cells in the body fear radiation, and radiation re-stimulates them and brings them to think that they are being attacked and they have to reproduce faster to survive the radiation. So,
Yes.
treating cancer with radiation is like,
It's unbelievable. Like, I don't remember exactly when radiation was invented. I think before World War II. I'm not so sure.
it's around World War I and something like that, between 1 and 2, something like that. Yeah.
And still, we don't have much, improvement. Nothing new come up, and everything is suppressed.
I mean, also here we have to say we can't be black and white. And there are some very cases where I can see, even my mother, she got a brain tumor and she did radiation. Well, okay, she got like half paralyzed. Yeah. But at least she survived 24 more years. Yeah. So that helped. Yeah. It was not nice for her, but she survived. So it's not always negative, but
It's not always,
it
but
has
I think
side effects.
public should be informed.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
It's
put it
about
that, just
informed consent. Yeah,
because
it's
I
about
would love to
informed consent.
know not only good stuff. I want to know bad stuff. You don't tell me what happened. I want to be informed and make my own decision what will go
Exactly.
to my body, because this is not doctor's body, it's mine. And
Exactly.
this is important, at least to
I was
me.
just talking to a patient whose wife has unfortunately a very rare cancer that it starts like in the sinus side and in the nose, and then it spreads within the brain and within the throat, and they wanted to give her radiotherapy. What it means is they're gonna burn her face and everything through. And they say, yeah, but we're doing a proton therapy. It's like very precise. It's true. It's like 1 millimeter exact each time they shoot. But first on such a big surface, you know, what do you want to get with this? And that it's gonna be terrible for her. So, and they were not realizing what it is, what they're gonna go through very soon. And I had to say, maybe you want to try something else before you do that.
Yes,
That's tough.
that's
That's
tough
tough.
because patients and family members are scared. They scared to face, and they want everything what is known, because they think there is only way, because no one really, if nothing happened in family, nothing happened to them as individual, don't look around and look, in the future, oh, I will have a cancer, I need to find something. We are educated in this area.
In many cases, the problem is time, because people are not knowledgeable on. It's also impossible to know everything about every kind of cancers. So the moment you get cancer, usually you're not prepared. Yeah, and then it's about like, oh, it's about time. You need to act fast. The faster you act, the easier it is to get rid of it, and with the less trauma, and the higher the chances that it's gonna go good. So it does play a big role to act fast. But sometimes, even if it's very small, the docs rush you. Yeah, you need to start the chemo like Monday. Yeah, and actually, you would have 2-3 months to see, and to check and to do your research. But they use fear to have you start now, because they know if you don't start now, or you will procrastinate, do something else, and go somewhere else. It's also a lot of money in there. Like a normal standard chemo treatment. I don't know what it is in the States, but in Germany, it's like 15,000 a month. Not bad.
It was more in United States. I don't remember on top of my head, but I think it was around 100,000. It depends of cancer.
Yeah, it depends where you do it and what you take and so on. But it's
in
a lot of
States,
money.
it's also tricky because doctors bill insurance, astronomical, fund. You never know how much it will cost.
Exactly.
You never.
So anyway, it's just true that there is a lot of money involved. And when I see like somebody 96 years old, and now they want like to she's diabetic, and she's got a problem, a wound in the foot that is not getting handled. Actually, there is a way to handle it which was be with oxygenized water, but people don't know that, because the reason why your wound doesn't heal, it's because it's hypoxic. So if hypoxic means that your cell have too little oxygen. So you bring oxygen into the cell and you heal everything. So that's why this works also against cancer cell. But so that's how you could do it. And what they do is they want to amputate her leg. It was 96. It's like, you're like, are you crazy? What do you want to happen? With this age, how should, and general anesthesia and everything, how should she, as a diabetic person, I mean, possibly what they will find inside is such a bad shape. She will never recover from this. And the bigger one that they will do through amputing her will be even worse than the one before. So sometimes you're like, serious. Yeah. So anyway,
Dominique, we have another 15 minutes. We went away from time. We can talk about these topics forever. And so I would love to invite you.
So what would you like to know about fenbendazole for the people who will
want to know where to find you. I will post all the info in the Facebook when we finish that, when to find you. And I know you support patients with the cancer on their journey and in the Facebook group. So, and what is the most important thing, in your opinion, they should know about, the cancer treatment and how you can support them.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do some kind of summary of the most important things. First thing is you need to know that the conventional medicine offers basically 4 types of treatments, which is surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, and immunotherapy. For me, immunotherapy is a nice marketing word. The concept of it is you attack your immune system and force it to react and to create more police. Like in the US, we had what was with the police, they wanted to take away the budget for the police. You do the opposite. You raise the budget for the police, through immunotherapy. But this strategy can be okay when the patient is at the very beginning of his cancer journey and very healthy, because then the immune system may react. And some people do have good results with this, but only at the beginning. When I see them try everything else before, and only when nothing works, then say, oh, we could do immunotherapy. I know this is the thing that's going to kill the person. It's just too much. It's to throw the drags the camel's back. And I'm very, very, very aggressive when I hear this. So first, these are the 4 types of treatment from the conventional medicine. Now, in the natural medicine world, we have thousands of possibilities. So there are many, many, many more possibilities if you look outside the conventional treatment, which doesn't mean that you should look only natural. I would always recommend a combination, because sometimes I have to say the hardcore methods of the conventional medicine are needed because the cancer cells just don't die like that. Yeah. But one thing, and this is the second part that is very important. First part is 4 treatments against thousands of treatments. The second point is detox, detox, detox. You need to detox. Your oncologist will never tell you to detox, but you have to do it. And there are many, many ways to do detox. We could talk about many things, but I could give you like 3, 4, or 5 that are important. The most important one is detox your liver. Your liver needs help because there is such a killing of cells in your body to get rid of the cancer cells. Your liver needs help. And there are many things you can take for your liver, but there's only one thing which is pretty much universal, and that's TUDCA.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about it, certainly. TUDCA, TUDCA, it's a long word, I'm going to spare you with this, but TUDCA is just nothing else than bile salt. So it's the salt that is being created in the pancreas and then stored in your gallbladder, and then goes into the liver when you eat, so that it helps to the metabolism of all the different glucids and proteins and fats that you've got there. Yeah. And that's what it needs to work well. So take TUDCA. You can take up to 2,000 milligrams a day. You can take either it as a detox on an empty stomach, a maximum 30 minutes before a meal, which not 15, but 45 or 30. And then it will work as detox, or you can take it at the end of a meal and it will work, it will help you for digestion. And you can do both, which I do. Yeah. And then, so TUDCA is the number one for me, number one detox stuff. The second one for people with cancer is pectazole. Pectazole is basically modified citrus pectin, MCP. And there is another variant, which is also called serrapeptase. It does the same thing. It's an enzyme. It's the enzyme that butterflies use to eat up the cocoon once they go from a worm to a butterfly. Yeah. And so it eats up all dead cells. And when you kill cancer cells, you have lots of dead cells everywhere. And sometimes there is a phenomenon of autophagy, which means that the new young cancer cells eat up the dead cancer cells. And so they can grow, and it's terrible. You kill them, but they grow even faster. So serrapeptase or nattokinase are very good also for that, especially if you have brain cancer. For brain cancer, I will take serrapeptase, but serrapeptase can be a little hard on the body. So pectazole is not hard on the body, and it can even have some anti-cancer effect. So I would recommend, if you don't have a brain cancer, take pectazole. You take, it's a brand name. It's a MCP, modified citrus pectin. And you take 3 scoops of 5 grams each per day. And from that moment, it has also an anti-cancer effect. And if you have die-off, which means when you start taking fenben and you see some reactions like itching, eczema, or some pain, do take pectazole immediately. Many people handle their pain thanks to this immediately. Yeah. So, okay, we said detox, and the 2 most important in detox are TUDCA and pectazole. You hear sometimes of other things like milk thistle, dandelion, desdemonium, whatever. There are many things that are good for the liver, but you need to know that milk thistle and dandelion, you should not take them if you have a hormone-driven cancer, because that makes it worse. So don't. So prefer take TUDCA. TUDCA is always good. TUDCA and pectazole. Yeah. And then there are other things you can do, like something that is really good is a coffee enema. But many people, especially men, but also women, don't like coffee enema, yeah, because you need to put it in your rectum and it's not nice. But when you get used to it, you can also find many videos on YouTube that explain how to do it in a smart way and what to take for this and so on. And then you do it, and the first time is not great, but second time is better. Third time you can get used to it. It can help a lot, especially if you've got pain. That helped a lot. So, and then another thing is castor oil. You can do packs of castor oil on your liver, on your belly, and it helps so very much to detox. Yeah. There are other things, but these are the most basic ones that I'm mentioning now. So another thing is you start always low, especially for all these things that are repurposed drugs that don't have a standard dosage. Start low and raise. Yeah. And when you start fenbendazole, you start like with 220 milligrams or 250 milligrams, and then you wait for 5 days and see what happens. And if nothing happens, perfect. After 5 days, you raise to 500 milligrams, and then you wait again 5 days, and so on until you reach 2,000 milligrams. Yeah. And then you stay at that. And some people, I would recommend to take even more. But when I say like 1,000, 2,000, whatever, 2 days ago I had a patient. I said, you need to go to 2,000. 2,000. I said, yeah.
And that's exactly what was in my head. Is this
Yeah.
entire
What is 2,000? 2,000. What does it mean? 2,000.
Yes.
And he said, oh, I don't know. I say, so why do you react like that? Maybe 2,000 is nothing in this case. When I talk about serapeptides, the unit is called SPU, and we're talking about 250,000. It's not gram, it's 250,000 SPU. So what does this mean? I don't know.
It's the number, big number.
The fact is that for dogs and cats, they recommend like 500 milligram per 10 kilo. So if you've got 80 kilo, like normal human, yeah, you can go up to 5 grams or 4,000 milligram, and you're still at a normal dosage for a dog. And usually pets take much lesser dosage than humans because they react very fast and much better on drugs than we do. So you've got a lot of room. Yeah, it's all good. But you need to, there are other protocols that say just take 250 and just take it only 3 days per week and then make a break of 4 days. And this is old protocol. It doesn't work. It's not logical because you don't want to bombard your cancer cells 3 days long and then give them 4 days rest and then start again once they are strong again. So you do it every single day. You never make a break, and you go on like that. And if you're going to NED, no evidence of disease, which means all cancer cells are gone, can't be seen anywhere, which happens quite a lot compared to other conventional treatments, but not always. You have to be aware of that. Then you don't stop at once. Yeah. I had one friend who did that, and he was not in communication with me this time. And basically, I saved him from his lung cancer, and he was so happy. And he said, "Hey, look, and now I can walk, and I go up the stairs, and this and that, and do everything." And I was like, "That's great, great. Okay, see you next time." So I went, and then 2 months later, I said, "How are you doing?" Not that good. So what's happening? Yeah, I got the other side of things. Okay, so what about fenbendazole? Oh, I stopped taking it. I had no more, and I forgot to buy some more. So you can't tell. You must be kidding. And at the end, well, he died because it was too late. And so you don't stop at once. Just because now it's good, it means, oh, you're good. No, you keep it for a while, the same level, and then after at least 5 months or whatever, then you slowly go down, yeah, and then you never completely stop. The like maintenance level would be something like 3 days off, 3 days on 250 or 222 milligrams. And or you do this like for 10 weeks and then you stop, and then 6 months later you start again, and you need to kind of stay on it. Yeah, that's your insurance, your life insurance. Yeah.
I know a lot of people who have questioned what is average cost of the monthly treatment.
Well, it's actually compared to any other cancer treatment is a joke. But for some people who have a little money, it's a lot. So it depends. But basically, like here in Germany, we can get tabs of fenbendazole. We get like 10 packs of 10 tabs, like that's 100 tabs for 500 milligram each, for roughly around €100. So you need, if you take 2 milligram a day, 2 gram a day, that's about you need maybe 120 tabs a month. So with a budget of 100 to 150 euro per month, you're good. But that just for the fenbendazole. You need to take some more stuff on it. Yeah? You need to take Tadca, you need to take pectazole, you need to take also, you need vitamin vitamin B complex, sorry. It's very important to take vitamin B complex on it. There are studies that show that you need to have a whole top of a whole basket of different vitamins and elements so that it works well. Another thing also, never ever take fenben, any kind of fenben, on an empty stomach. Always when you eat. And also make sure you eat also some proteins with it. It's always better. Good ones, healthy ones, but some proteins, because the fenben molecule, they bind with proteins and then they go together in the liver where they get metabolized. 95% of the fenben get metabolized in the liver. Yeah. Another thing is for people with the brain cancer, they can also take fenbendazole, but there is a little problem because the normal fenbendazole doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, BBB. So to help it cross, you would take fenben in a powder form, and you will dissolve it in DMSO. DMSO is something that is the kind of the universal solvent, and it's used to basically it's something that helps any kind of drug you take with DMSO to penetrate all the cells and go through the cells and the cell walls.
It's
So
also parasitic.
Hmm?
It's
Sorry?
also anti-parasitic.
Yeah, it's amazing. And DMSO has so many properties. You could talk 1 year long about it. It's crazy. It's very useful. And so you take fenben with DMSO, you mix it together, and then you take it, and this will, a part of it will cross directly the blood-brain barrier, and will also be good for your brain tumor. Yeah. Or you take menbendazoles like fenben, but with an M instead of F at the beginning, which is the version for humans. But it's not, which works well with brain cancer, but you need first a doctor to prescribe it in a dosage that is high enough for you, which is not always easy to find. And then the second thing is that what do I say? There is one molecule missing in menbendazole compared to fenbendazole. Fenbendazole has a sulfur molecule on top, and sulfur is very good against yeast and fungi and things like that. And I think this is one of the reasons why fenben works so well. And on all other kinds of cancer types, apart from the brain cancer, fenben does better usually than menben. So I would recommend basically to take fenben. And if you've got a brain cancer, take fenben with DMSO. You can also basically take fenben with DMSO because it always helps to get it everywhere. I did it too. Now I take it without DMSO. But it's, yeah, DMSO is good stuff anyway. So that's the important. Yeah, and also take it with fat. Yeah, take it with fat. So always make sure you've got some fat. And we were also talking about diet. One thing that many people do wrong is they take wrong oils. Yeah. You need to get rid of any processed vegetable oils. So the only oils that you're allowed to take are olive oil, especially organic, fast pressure, cold. Yeah. That's the best is if you know exactly where it comes from and that nothing has been added to it. Yeah. The second thing you can add is take is coconut butter or coconut oil. Also, often it's what is used for MCT. MCT is basic oil when you use for drugs. And so olive oil, coconut oil, and MCT together, and or omega-3. And this is what I do personally. I take always my fenbend together with some with 2 caps each of 1,000 milligram omega-3, because omega-3 is so vital for all your metabolism processes in the body, and especially for the liver as well. That's also a very important thing for the liver, for the detox, and for all processes and metabolism. So take a lot of omega-3. That's really, really good. Yeah. So that's the 3 kind of oils you can take, and you can get rid of all others. They are just bad. They do inflammations and things like that. Don't take that. Yeah.
Okay. And most important, do not take it with the acetaminophen.
Yeah, don't.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. The only contraindication, only because everybody asks me, can I take fenbend with this cancer treatment, or with this chemotherapy treatment, or with this and with, and always the answer is yes, you can take it with it. The only known contraindication is Tylenol, paracetamol, acetaminophen. Yeah, which is the same. And that's it. That's the only one. So also, yeah, the vitamins, many docs still say, which is wrong, that you can't take antioxidants while you're on a chemotherapy. And now the newest studies all show that this is BS, because antioxidants, what they do is that they will protect the good, healthy cells from the chemotherapy, but they will help the chemotherapy kill the cancer cells. So it's good. You can take vitamin C and things like that while you are getting the chemotherapy. On the contrary, it's not bad, it's good.
Yes. Right. Thank you so much, Dominique. It's so honored to have you here. And, I will post all your info in the comments. And I hope to have you in the future back to discuss maybe detox.
I'd be glad we can discuss about a lot of things. There's so much to know now. I had to do like quite fast the most important points. There's much more to know, but people can reach me also anytime if they have questions to want to know. I also accompany not only the patients but their caregivers, and I also accompany not just for the fenbend protocol but basically for everything that comes in between. Sometimes preparing a talk with an oncologist, or understanding blood works or whatever, or the last report or CT scan report, or they make it basically on purpose that people don't understand what's in there, and that's really, really sad.
It's sad. My mother, she had a twice, she's a survivor, but she doesn't even know what kind of breast cancer she had. No one told her. So
there's so much more to say. If you want, one day what we can do also, we can talk about Dr. Hammer and the new German medicine. That's an interesting one.
I would love to.
In terms of cancer. And also about this water, this cocoon water, the oxygenized water, which is also absolutely amazing. So I would always
regular panel once a month.
Sure. I would always recommend a multi strategy. Yeah, multiple strategy. Don't do only one thing. Also consider conventional treatments, but not only, and think at your detox.
Yes, and stop putting toxic stuff in your body, on your body.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't make it even worse for your body through filling it with, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. I will post all the info in the comments. Thank you so much, Dominique. It was an honor to have you here. Let me stop the stream.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right.